are those who could keep their divine presence steady in one occupation, live in the same house all of their life. My parents did. I never could. Shoot, I moved around so much, it's unbelievable. I'm real settled down here in Crestonia, Colorado now, I'm telling you, man. How about you? I'm still living in a spaceship, though, man, and I'm ready for takeoff. Anytime you guys are ready, too, man, we'll just blast on out of here while staying here, okay? Expand in that multi-dimensional sort of way. And that Allison from Portland, man, man, she's a rocking chick. There's a lot of them out there, man. There's a lot of people that got that flow going on, and new things are happening all over the place, isn't it? The magic is becoming apparent in the reality. Little bit here, little bit there, little bit there. See, we got to have a sturdiness and a steadiness when our government finally fails us and lets us go. You know, I mean, because we got to let it go too, see. But that's 3D. And it's all part of the swirling of the divine mystery, the unraveling of the dynasty of heartlessness, let's say. The reverse sort of way, the inverse sort of way, which leads to an outward expansion so spectacular. Oh my goodness gracious, Aloysius. It's worth every foolish moment we spend in this life. I don't know how many times in this life I felt like such a damn fool. I'd get my fingers in it, I'd get my foot in it, I'd get my you-know-what in it. Oh, and it'd just be like, oh no, man, what has this happened to me? But I just run on through and get through it and go on. You know what I mean? Man, sometimes when you're flat back on your ass, man, laying there in the grass, that's a beginning. And there was a time, you know, it wasn't Memorial Day, but it was something I'll never forget. It was memorial in that way, and it was given to us by the angels and the ancestors and all that have lived in any kind of way and contributed to these lives we live here and now. You know, it was just one of those magic, spectacular moments. As I recall right, it was mid-August, August 22 in 94, but it could have been any time back in those days. But that's a date for some reason sticks. I don't like calendars and I don't like dates, so understand that, you know. Because it's about time you think that's the date. Well, guess what? You're too late because it happened 3 days before that or 6 days after that. Where you been? I remember I was telling somebody about a so-called meteor I'd seen. It was a spaceship come down when I was just a kid, and I thought I was 8 years old when I saw it. Hell, I was 13. I was off by, I thought it was 56, it was 63, but thank goodness somebody came along that knew that could find that information. And wow, fixed me right up. See how warped your memories can be anyway? Might as well live it this Spring Creek way, man. Just let it kind of spiral through you, man. You know, get into that, you know, it's kind of the unwinding of time, this beginning moment that we recognize here at Spring Creek, you know, and it's always got a little cactus juice in it too. There's always a little rind in the carrot juice, whatever. I mean, there's always that little bit of added zip, a-dee-doo-dah, so we can really soften ourselves up and learn to be the presence of creation most pleasantly and harmoniously. See, it took all this grief and strife at home. I hate it. I don't like it when friends of mine pass on. People I've known, because they're really family, no matter what our status is in this real world of 3D, they say. You know, because feelings can get hurt and people get left behind, or you just move away and, you know, you don't mean to leave nobody behind. You can't help it. Your heart takes you to that new place, and you got to be there, man. You know, and when your time's up there, you go somewhere else. You know, it's just the way things work for people like you. You're born like a drop of water way up on the mountain, the beginning of the stream of life, same as everyone else. But you got this purpose to fulfill. It eats at you. You know, not in a mean sort of way, but just in a real, I don't know how to describe it. You're very motivated from day one. Little baby child, man. You know, you can see right through the people around you, man, you know, and you try not to store that in yourself, but inevitably it gets in there and you become one of them, you know. You can't help it. That's why we're here in this 3D, is to accept that reality as a reality for a bit, but then honestly to live right through that and to expand from that guttural root to the far more grander expressions of the multidimensional living expressions of life that we are. And each and every person and being and presence that lives here is. See, all of us together as one sweetheart in motion. Now we live moments like that here day after day, Monday through Friday in that Coyote sort of way, but especially on a day where we remember our ancestors and what they've contributed to what we are now. Though we might think them damn fools and barbarians and guttural D-heads and so forth, that's just judgments we've heaped on their experience we know nothing about. Yet it lives in our hearts, so we know it all. Their whole experience lives in us. And we're here to refine it into a far grander expression than they could live it in. And even they got some pretty good places. It ain't talked about much here. But there has been some real magic in these lives throughout the years, and not just here and there, but everywhere. It's always preserved its presence and always kept the people going, even if it had to disguise itself as some religious figure for a little bit to do it. You know, like Madonna or something, you know, and some of the appearances. There's a soul presence behind all of that, you know. Those that know it go with the flow of it, you know, because she represents that divine mother. See, this is why the crooked ones had to go straight. Because this is the one thing they've tried to deny, and they've tried to, you know, put away, the mother. I mean, look how badly we've assaulted our Mother Earth in the name of precious development. Yeah, mining for minerals and drilling for oils and all kinds of crap, right? Well, guess what, babies? You know, we're over that now. But this world was created, so it's kind of like an amusement park, so we could do such horrible ass things, even finish the whole thing off if that was our choice, which of course we've come to many a time, but we've never been able to do. We've always walked right through. Sometimes we let the disaster happen, but we made sure there was a preservation. We kept on going. Right? You remember that stuff? You feel it in your blood. This is Memorial Day. Feel your ancestral love. Because every one of those lives that went down that way blesses you right now. They don't want to pull you down. They're here to bring you back around. So they don't have to come around and live it miserably again. Not ever. Neither do you, baby. Because, see, we're one and the same with the ancestral blood we live in. And it's all human. It's all one great big gigantic tribe, no matter how you choose to define it or how spiritual or unspiritual or indigenous or otherwise you might feel about yourself. We're all indigenous and we're all spiritual. That's what we're made of. That's what love is. It's spirit. That's what that invisible energy is that becomes very, very visible as you begin to feel it and allow it to be. You know, the centering of your whole reality. You don't see like you did in the 3D any longer. You see multidimensionally. You see where all energies unite in the flow of creation and recreate themselves again and again in divine experience in this one singular moment we call Spring Creek. Your moment of truth. The headwaters of life flowing through your heart like the living work of art you are into the presence of creation around you. You are the artist, the life that you're living. It's your living, loving, painting expression of it, the movie you make for yourself to be in, man. So it can be cool as all get out. It can be dramatic as hell itself. Babies, it can be anything you wanted it to be. And here it is now, learning to live from all of the wild stuff it's been through, learning to live in this natural way, a flow, a feeling, don't you know? It brings forward what we would call, you know, a joyful presence, a happy persona, something that keeps you rocking and rolling despite anything else that might be going on around you. And in a way, you become energetically self-correcting of all that disharmony. And as you radiate outward into your presence, well, others radiate out into theirs too, because they like what they see here. It's not back a few days ago or a few years ago when you showed too much of your presence here. They might wipe you out or something, but they definitely disowned you from humanity for a while. That's always the price you pay for exposing too much greatness in the reality in any life you lived before this one. Maybe even in this one, people. But it's been different for me. I hope it has for you too. I mean, I've really had a lot to go through to get here, yet gone through is the words, man. I mean, it's over with, see? It doesn't live in the way that I got to keep living. It's a part of that generational experience now. I worked out, I didn't know it at the time. I was just following that crazy little flow, that desire I got to be more present than anything I saw around me. I could not grok or relate to this world too greatly here, It just didn't feel real because people could be so high-minded and proper and loving towards one another in one breath and turn around and in the next moment, take advantage of another for the benefit of financial gain. I mean, they were like cave people, but in some kind of rigidly organized way. You walk this way, you follow this structure, and guess what? You got it good. You go that way, well, no, you're not going to have it so good, etc., etc. I mean, a pretty well-defined life, real rigid in its perception and application. And real rigid in its outlook about what the rules were and who applied them and how it got here, and all of that kind of stuff. And if you disagreed with any of that or found it uncomfortable, ooh, you were a child of the devil, man. Of course, that made you, because then they know you got some presence, and so then they come to try to dim that light down, so you'll be like everybody else. Just be the zombie, man. Shut the F up and go along with the world, okay? Whatever world you're born into. Everybody faces it one way or another. It's just really harsh where I was. But, New York City, I mean, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near the place. I mean, I wouldn't. I just don't grok or relate to that kind of reality, as far as a place I'd want to grow up. Yet some of my good friends come exactly from that place, and I love them for it. I admire for being able, for one, to keep a soul presence alive in a dark den of untruthfulness like that, where, illusions are just as common as anything else is. I mean, that's what it all is. One great big old divine illusion. So I keep telling you that New York City is just going to evaporate one day. It's already kind of dematerialized around you. You just don't realize it yet. So you're still living in it, see? That's the effect of 3D when it's just rigid, Sometimes it's a little hard to let it go. That's what took us so long to get here, yet it's exactly the right time we need to be in it now, isn't it? And see how we've flown now through these generations as a rock. I mean, steady as you please, no matter what else was going on. We lived that life. We got through it. We got to that moment where we could check out and go appreciate it instead of live it miserably. And then we'd check back in again once we got to, unless we had something else to do that was cool, but we'd usually come back after a while. Well, a lot of us are real active players here. A lot of us are just one lifetime here, one lifetime there, one lifetime there. I meet people that tell me this is their only lifetime, but I think they might be fooling themselves because the experience in 3D has been united anyway. So there isn't a soul presence that could live just one life unless it's the one life we all live. In every moment that has been, is, and will ever be, because there isn't all of that time. There's just, see, we're coming back. That's the implosion. Back out of time to Spring Creek, the place where it all began. And then we get our realization because of that little bit of cactus juice and everything that helps that vision clear. Dissolves the veils away, and you start to live it in that multi-dimensional sort of way. That's the fresh drink of water you get here on the Hazy Radio Network with Grandpa Coyote and Okiwan Kenobi and all of my grandkids, great-grandkids, all across this earth, but especially those devoted to us up there in the great Northwest. We love you so, man, and the rest of you too. That's my family, even though, babies, we're all family, man, and, gosh, I miss my web-footed friends, but we'll get back there one of these days. Gee whiz, I'm glad you guys tune in some. It's sure awesome to have you here, even if I can't be there. But one of these days, baby, I think it's about right now, we'll just expand into a more conscious place where, well, it ain't going to be a whole lot of difficult to so-called travel somewhere, because guess what? We're everywhere. And if we want to be there and focus our complete person there, we can do that. Hey, just let it flow through you for a little bit, man. Maybe the Blues Brothers can help you understand, okay? If not, nobody else, well, we got some real special treats, you know, up our sleeve here for you. Just a minute or two, man, babies. So just remember, it ain't ever over until, well, and we don't let those people sing here, so it ain't never over. Okay? I thought you'd see it our way. Oh, darlings, day after day. The magic of love in a coyote sort of way at these original waters, man. Flowing your way. Flowing from you, too, man. Now into everything. Oh, my goodness. Now you see what's meant by morning dew, don't you? Oh, we love you so here on this hazy radio network.